I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited by this last thing, Chewy. I'm quite excited because it's about talkback, and I love talkback. And I have to be really honest with you guys. Not this first part, but the second call I'm going to play, it was only 90 seconds. I actually find quite emotional. And the reason I find it emotional is because I'm empathetic. And no matter what people say about what we've done and what we've said about, anti-vaxxers and stuff, I think our driving factor always has been one of empathy because people have been fooled, right? Now, that's anyone who's in a cult, that's my initial reaction is one of empathy when they've been fooled. Now, I'm going to play you a couple of calls here. And the first one's actually only about 15 seconds. It's not even a call. Because the first segment I'm going to play you is talking about the words that this person's using who regrets voting for Brexit. Hear the words that they're saying. Think about the communities that got behind National and ACT. See if you can hear the difference, because I certainly can. Difference? The similarities is what I mean. If you can hear the same sort of words coming up, the tribal words coming up, that sort of thing. The second call I'm going to play you is about a guy who thinks he's solely responsible for ruining the UK because of his vote for Brexit. And it's heart-wrenching. I've listened to it a couple of times, and it kind of chokes me up a little bit when I listen to it. Because it's not fair. I mean, when we talked about, and I'm not saying I want to have a debate with you tonight now about COVID, but when we talked about those people who were fooled by the cult, it was the disinformation dozen that were the dirty bastards at the top who you have no empathy for. The people getting fooled at the bottom were the ones that were like that journalist in Pukekohe in Auckland who wished on his deathbed he had got the vaccine, but he'd been fooled into it and he died from it. And, grandkids were gone. The grandkids lost their granddad, the kids lost their father. I find it mostly sad. So in the situation today, with what's happened with National and ACT New Zealand First, my bet is in a year to 2 years from now, there'll be a bunch of people talking like these two calls I'm going to play you are talking, who regret what they've done because what's happening, can we just say a war in the Middle East being involved with, is not what they voted for. What's happening to Māori, for these people who voted for National Act thinking, I know my son-in-law's Māori, but this is going to be good, or who thinks, I know that my best mate, but it's going to be, who then see in 18 months' time what they've voted for is going to cause them to feel like this. So I'm just going to play the first year and then you can respond. So this first one's very short. It's not a full call. He's just talking to a woman and he's talking to her and she uses phrases that are cult-like. Remember, these are people who are phoning up, who are saying why they regret their vote. And if you know anything about cults, things happen like it builds community. You do a thing called love bombing. There's lots of things that happen that draw you into that cult. You become isolated. You're in your own echo chamber, all these things. And it's, I think, what's happened with National and ACT and New Zealand First for a portion of the people who voted. And I just wanted to show you why I'm relating it to Brexiters, people who are regretting their Brexit vote. Have a listen.
I remember being stunned by people who were adamant that everybody agreed with them. And it took me a while to realise that every single person they met did agree with them, whether it was in the pub or online or in the the canteen at work. That's what you're describing, an almost unchallenged position reached by gaslighting or by media lies, but unchallenged by
a community formed.
Exactly that, yes. And it became part of people's identity.
We all, But that's exactly what happened. But the difference is, the morning that vote came in and it didn't go the way everyone wanted it to, it wasn't until that moment that we were all the direct.
So that's one of the differences, is they felt a thing called remorse straight away afterwards. But you heard her saying things like it created community, it was the same echo chamber. And I'll just point to you to do with people voting for National and ACT and New Zealand First. Same thing. Everyone they spoke to was saying the same things. Same thing. Now, this is only, you can see it's only 90 seconds and I'll play the whole thing. This guy's phoned up and at the start of the conversation, he's quite bright and bubbly and he goes, I've got to make an apology to you. But there will be people in New Zealand who feel like this in 18 months' time, realising what they've voted for and haven't got it. You just have a listen.
Bill's in Exmouth. Bill, what would you like to say?
Actually, James, I owe you an apology, my dear fellow. I was wrong.
Go on.
I was wrong. And I think you're absolutely right. I think that... I'm an old-fashioned git, really, I suppose.
We've spoken before.
We've spoken before.
Yeah.
And Do you know what? You were right. I was wrong. For some reason,
Go on.
I thought we were better off, and clearly I was wrong.
Well, don't beat yourself up, Bill, mate. Listen to all the people that told you we would be. I've spent the whole morning telling them they've been whispering in your ear, not just for 2.5 years, for 30 years.
I was wrong. I am so sorry.
Oh, Bill, mate, come on.
Jesus.
What have I done to my country? I'm so sorry.
Bill, there's 17.4 million people. You can't take all the blame on your own shoulders, my friend. Come on. And look at the effort. These people are billionaires. They own the Ritz, Bill. They own the Daily Telegraph. They wouldn't have spent all that money and put all that effort into trying to persuade you to act against your own interests if they didn't think it was plausible. I'm not going to let you blame yourself, Bill. All right?
Well,
blame them, Bill. Blame them, Bill. Do not blame yourself.
I'm sorry, James.
Don't be sorry. Be angry, all right? And if you're not angry yet, I'll get angry on your behalf. That right there. That's why I've been doing what I've been doing for the last 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I can throw it to you, Chewy. But do you see what I mean? Like, can you just imagine there'll be people? I mean, that was pretty dramatic, but that's why I played it. There will be people in New Zealand on some level, at some stage in this term, who I predict will be going like that. What have I done to my country? What have I put us in? Why have I put us in? Why did I lend my vote to help put us in this position? Yours, sir.
Yeah, look, there's a couple of things about that clip, right? It's what I love about talkback. Okay, there's one that's just like a talkback moment that you couldn't script, and it speaks to something, right? So many people in the UK that voted for Brexit, they weren't voting for Brexit.
Yeah,
they were voting as a protest vote against other things.
Against 100%.
They just wanted to be part of the percentage that said we're not happy. And whenever things aren't going well, that's like, I want something to register my voice. And the way that they positioned Brexit was to scoop up those people. And so many people in the UK voted against their interests. So many business owners voted against their interests.
Yeah.
They shut themselves off from their biggest markets. They shut themselves off from their retirement on the sunny coast of Spain. You know, they shut them off from easy travel within Europe. And they went, oh my God, I didn't think this would happen. The feeling of being used. And I can't overstate this, how broken parts of the UK society are. They don't change their government. They can't change their government very often. They're still using first past the post.
Yeah.
So where do you put your dissatisfaction? When these rich families own all of the media, they get to shape all of your opinions. And then they get to wind you up and point you in a direction. And then you've got to, like that fella, he's realised what he's done. He's realised he's been suckered. I see the same thing when people come into work and they've been scammed by confidence scams online. Yeah. They feel stupid. How could I have fallen for this? It's so obvious. And the answer is like, this is what these people do. It's not all your fault. But someone has taken advantage of you. And that is where a lot of my rage towards so many people that are being scooped up by this information machine, whether it's anti-COVID, whether it's pro-Trump, QAnon, MAGA, all of this stuff. This myth of Māori elites running the show here, all of this stuff. People that listen to Plunkett, they're looking for a community. They're looking for someone to tell them, no, you're not stupid. You're the only people that see the truth. It's the truth that I show you. That makes you smart. That is incredibly powerful. You end up with people that have isolated themselves into networks like on Telegram and Signal and certain Facebook groups and all of that sort of thing. And it's a reinforcement loop. You're not stupid. You're not crazy. No matter what your friends and family in the real world say, you're with us, your friends. We're the only ones that know what's going on. When you're lonely and isolated and you don't feel like you're running with the herd, that is incredibly powerful.